Wow. Oh, absolute wow. Winter wonderland, just amazing. So my previous film, I said I'm up in the mountains, but not sure you were expecting this, were you? It's just absolutely stunning. Blanket of snow, blue sky, dub bothy. I think it's called dub bothy. So apparently I've just been speaking to a couple of people who I had to camp outside overnight because it was full. So obviously popular, but for those that know the area, kind of Buttermere is just round the corner there, so kind of High Styles over there, Fleetwood Pikes up there. But at the moment I've got a composition looking kind of down onto the crag with the bothy. It'd probably be quite hard for me to show you the setup because it's so bright. But what I've got is I'll rather than show you on the back of the screen, I'll talk you through it. I've got the bothy on the kind of bottom right hand rule of thirds, which is a kind of lovely bit of foreground interest. And above the bothy, you got the beautiful snowy mountain with a bit of cloud on, and then to the left of the bothy, that great kind of crag, and just a lovely bit of composition with the kind of the natural line of the kind of edge of the hill running through the image. I hope that works. So I'm trying to talk you through it. One of the challenges, obviously, is snow is, as you statements to the obvious, snow is very, very white. So you get lots of kind of brightness in the image. So there's darkness in the image as well. So you've got to be careful with your kind of exposure. So I'm actually exposing on the bothy because it's got white roof and dark side, so my exposure box almost covers that entirely. So it actually gives me a nice kind of balance between the two, because you get the bright white and the dark, and then what the camera will do was try and even that out, and it works quite well. The camera always tries to get, when it's exposing, the camera will always, where you put your exposure box, try and get it to a kind of a mid-grey tone, so it'll try and even out. Now there's a bit of kind of experience that I think actually, because the sun's shining on the side of the bothy, I've underexposed a little bit, but I think that's kind of a good tip. The other area I could probably expose that gives the same sort of balance would be kind of somewhere over there on the crag where the sun, a bit of shadow. Hope that makes sense. No filter in because it's quite a balance from top to bottom, apart from obviously the shadowy bit. I don't mind that, but I do have my polarizer in just for the blue sky, and I'm on f/16, focused on the bothy because that's about a third of the way into my image, and then you hopefully get a good depth of field. But look at this, look at this. You don't get many days like this, tell you. I hope you can hear me. I put my buff on, so I'm going to take a few more here, and then there's a tarn just down over there. It might be frozen, but I'll go and have a look. There's a bit of a river as well. River might provide some leading lines, but I'm gonna have a look. But even if I don't get that image, I'm pretty happy. Oh, I'm sometimes lost for words. I know people think I ramble a little bit, but what is this to say? The images, the view speaks for itself. So Buttermere and Crummock Water, Buttermere Valley, great fells, just incredible. And you can see the line of kind of demarcation where the snow is. So I'm trying to get a view down the valley. It's quite a wide, flat bottom valley, as you can tell. So having to do a panorama, and again it's going to be quite hard for me to show you on here, but essentially, so yeah, you probably won't be able to see that. So, but essentially, I'll try and do it with the GoPro. Essentially, I'm starting here with an image on the left-hand side and just panning like that, and I'm trying to get in the two peaks because I think that makes a nice image. Little bit of a challenge because obviously peaks are in sun with snow, very white, and the bottom of the valley is very dark. So I'm bracketing to try and compensate for that. It might not be too bad actually, because you get reflected light off the snow, but there's a couple of bits that's quite dark, so I'm bracketing particularly for this side. That side was probably okay, but that side a little bit more of a challenge, so bracketing, and then it's 3 images, and I'll eventually stitch them together. But I'm heading for the tarn, but I saw this spot and thought I came up, so I was previously, you might just be able to see the bothy over there, so I came up this way and I saw this outcrop and I thought, too good an opportunity to miss. Cold though. Made it to Blackbeck Tarn, so Buttermere is just behind me, so I'm looking the other way now towards Great Gable and Green Gable, and the tarn's frozen over, which is well, I can't imagine it's thick ice, but wouldn't want to try working on it, but just makes it the kind of the perfect. Sorry about the sun shining. I'll try and, is that better? It's the perfect winter landscape, and there's one of those things happening now that sometimes when you process an image of snow, it looks a bit odd, but I don't know whether the GoPro will pick it up, but actually the shadows look very, very blue. So obviously the snow is white, but the shadows are very, very blue because they're picking up the light from the sky, which is very blue. It's reflecting the blueness of the sky. So sometimes when you process images of snow and it comes back blue, you think, oh, the snow's not blue. But actually, if you've got a blue sky, the shadows are blue. So I can't show you again on the back of the camera because it's just too bright to be able to do that. But I'll walk you through it and hopefully try and keep the sun out of your kind of lens. So sun's up to my right at the moment, so it's casting some nice shadows, and I've got the composition that's the beck runs obviously out of the tarn and down this way, so I've got a composition with the beck leading up to the tarn. The tarn's kind of in my kind of middle distance, and then I've got Great Gable and Green Gable and the kind of the mountains. Regular viewers will know that I made a film over the other side of Great Gable and Green Gable at another tarn. I can't remember the name of it. Styhead Tarn. So check that out as well, because it's from the other side. Well, it wasn't quite as clear as this. It was a bit cloudy, but might be worth checking out. But I'm working on that composition, using the tarn as the kind of foreground interest. If it was completely covered in snow, it'd be a bit dull, but because you can still kind of get some definition of the tarn, it looks great. I'm on f16, focused just at the beginning of the tarn, because that's roughly a third of the way into the image, and hopefully that renders kind of nice depth of field. ISO 100, and there's not really much challenge in terms of lighting, because it's such a bright image. I've got my polarizer in for the blue sky and the blues in the shadows, but no graduated filter or anything, because actually the landscape and the sky are not much different in terms of exposure. So I'm enjoying it. The wind's at my back at the moment, so hopefully you're getting a better sound quality. But I'm going to take a few here and then kind of have a bit of a scout round, but then it's probably time to start kind of heading back, because I'm not sure, it's gone 1 o'clock. Let me have a double check. Yeah, it's 1:30, so need to start heading back soonish. I couldn't resist one last image. So I'm actually heading my way down, but path runs down here, and saw these rocks with some snowdrift on, these slates that have been stood up, and then looking across into the distance into the Helvellyn range. So it's got something in the foreground, something in the midground, and kind of amazing distance, and it's just supreme. So again, I won't be able to show you on the back of the camera, but I'm using these in the foreground. One of the issues I had is these footprints. Ideally, if that was smooth, fresh snow, they're not my footprints, by the way, that would have been better. So I'm starting the image with these rocks, and they've got a kind of nice angle of pointing in that direction. Then those kind of monoliths move it back in that direction, and then you've got Helvellyn. So just the brightest part of this image is actually the snow in the foreground. So if you can see this rock, the middle rock, it's facing directly the sun, so that's the brightest bit. That's going to probably be blown out, but I can probably live with that. I could maybe do something in Lightroom to sort that out, but that's going to be, so I'm not, ignore that. I wouldn't, if you were here, ignore that bright bit, because it will affect all the other image, or the rest of the image. So concentrate on the image as a whole. And I think the composition's quite nice. Just going to check where we go. One thing, because I had to come closer to start with those rocks, I think I've probably got a bit too much sky, but I can crop that out, because there's probably 2/3 up to the kind of the top of the mountain range, and then 1/3 of sky. That's probably too much, so I might crop a little bit of the sky out. Hopefully that makes sense. And now it's time to pack up and head down. Almost finished. Quite a steep route back, and quite slippy. So I thought I'd talk to you now while I'm on soft snow. So I hope you enjoyed that. I loved it. I absolutely bloody loved it. You don't get many days like this. I can count on the fingers of one hand when I've been in the mountains in snow with such calm, clear blue skies. You know, I've had great days in the hills, but this is a really good day in the hills. So hope you enjoyed it. Was I showing you up the hill or something? And I would just, I find it a real compliment that kind of people see what I do and then want to go where I've been. And quite a lot of people message me and ask me, you know, about where it is and how you get there and that stuff. Please, 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 please don't come to a place like this. Even though it looks beautiful, it's absolutely deadly. So unless you're well prepared, don't come. Unless you've got a map and a compass and you know what you're doing, please don't come. I bumped into a family celebrating their daughter's birthday, and they'd parked down in Bussenmere, and they were up somewhere near Dubs, Bothy, but they didn't know where they were, and they didn't know the way back down, and they didn't have a map, they didn't have a compass, and one of them had like tracksuit bottoms on, so they had absolutely no clue of how to get back down. They'd been walking for 4 hours, so don't do it. It's hopefully they'll get back down nice and safe, and I tried to point them in the right direction and sort them out, but it's not worth the risk. It's beautiful, it's absolutely stunning, but it's not worth losing your life over. Now, I hope I don't sound too dramatic, but it's just a warning. So hope you enjoyed it, hope you enjoyed the snow, hope we get some more snow, and I'll see you on the next one. Not sure where it'll be, but I'll see you then. Bye.